Welcome to Started Frame 1. It is 2 o'clock and we are live. Hello out there in the World Wide Web, wherever you are sitting right now. And welcome to today's live stream. And we are thanking first Chester Music Lab for the music we just were listening to. Thanks for providing your songs for the stream. Check out their homepage to get all kind of music. And you see, I'm already super in. I started drawing today like half an hour before streaming. And I am doing a kind of a cleanup, still rough, but I wanted to dive a little bit more into the details of what we've done in the last stream, where we already prepared in-betweens for our animation to create a more fluent animation, and it was fairly rough. And what I'm doing right now may not 100% be necessary if you want, but I like doing it because we now have our poses, we have all that established, and now I want to get a little bit more into the details of each drawing, and I'm feeling more comfortable to do this with a pencil than already going in with our finished outline. And as it's Friday and I just felt like, so I wanted to do this step today to give the last day of the week a nice touch. So, and going into details, you sometimes find those little arrows, which are really just very slight arrows, but in order to make it right and also to improve my skills in this animation when it comes to anatomy, I wanted to make it right. I wanted to make it count. So because here there is no time pressure, and this way I can now go a little bit more into those details, and hopefully when clients knock on my door and want a half-naked character jumping off a diving blank, I will be more efficient doing that. So that's why I want to do it this way and make sure. So look at that. This is how far we got last time. And I just want now to get into more details, which last time, I already said, like, animation has quite some steps, which comes from the first very rough animation and doing timings and spacing and all that stuff, all through the cleanup. I think this part right now is what I'm enjoying quite the most, because you already you don't have to worry about the movements anymore, and now I can concentrate on what I'm lately focusing on mostly, and this is basically the anatomy of this character here. So, but that may change. So this is what I enjoy right now mostly, but maybe once I finished that step, I'm super looking forward to the cleanup, as I will be in on that step for quite some time, it is always cool to switch to the next step. And I feel like if I want to do this step right, so next time when I'm doing the cleanup, I don't have to worry about certain details, that some stuff is off, because I'm gonna take care of this right now. So basically the next step, the cleanup, is more or less like very simple, just drawing on top of that without much of a thinking. And this is always a good moment where you can listen to the long podcasts you always wanted to listen to, or watch your favorite animation stream while you do cleanup. I don't know. But the thing is, like, you don't need to concentrate too much normally, because you're just retracing the lines just with another tool, which shouldn't need too much thinking power. Okay. And I switched back to the PC. I hope the system is stable today. Because I really missed last time when I was animating on the Mac. I totally missed the zoom function, which I couldn't figure out how it works. Because the control space combination, which allows me to just dragging my mouse or my pen, allows me to zoom like this. It didn't work on the Mac, and I don't know why. But without that function, I felt like I missed the fluidity of my process, and it took away quite some pleasure. And that's why I decided to get back to the PC today, risking everything stream wise, because as I explained last time, my PC lately does things I am not without my consent. Let's see. Lately it feels like every time I switch on the PC, I have to prepare for a new problem, which is not fun. Especially when you're motivated and you're inspired to work, and then you have to spend like half an hour to just connect your Bluetooth devices. That is not how it's supposed to be. Okay, that looks good. And all those tools and shortcuts that I just said with the zoom allow me to really just work on the canvas view of Gritter without having any of the user interface. I just use shortcuts to jump between my keyframes, create new keyframes. So this is actually the user interface. And now I switch to the canvas view. So I like that because it kind of creates this, I don't know, it limits the whole thing to what it's actually supposed to be, and without all this this distracting windows and all that stuff. I like that. As if this was just a piece of paper. There we go. Okay. So now what I do actually, this is my outline where I have, well, the layer where I have all this outline where you see here. We animated at the beginning on force, which means every drawing is be visible for 4 frames. And to create a more fluent animation, I added between each drawing another one. So each drawing only is 2 frames long. And that creates the sensation of a more fluent animation. And so I just got down the opacity on the layer here, where you see where I have this, here you see like this very rough in-betweens, in between those already finished outlines. Every second image is just a sketch. And now I go on top of that, I lower the opacity, and now I just want to refine every drawing that is only roughly drawn on the other layer. So let's get back into full screen mode, canvas mode. All right. Hey Jean, how are you? Nice you could find the time today again. Holy moly, thank you so much. Like, I'm wondering what all the viewers are. Like, nobody complains so far. Okay, apparently there's actually no need to see what I'm drawing. So now this questions the whole format of this stream. Thanks a lot, Sean, and really appreciate this kind of help. So if there's any problem with the audio whatsoever, please let me know. And I haven't been able to actually get a routine in there that you guys always see what I'm doing. I think it's been awfully lot of times where I just rant on about any topic and telling what I'm doing right now without anybody seeing what I'm doing. So this one is a interesting drawing because I'm not really sure. It feels pretty much off. And only after one stream, now I'm back on the PC and I'm struggling again with the switching the chip and pressing Control instead of Command. That's why I don't like too much switching all the time between PC and the Mac, because it gives me kind of a headache. And I always felt when the first time I had a Mac, I felt so much, it was so much easier to use the command with the positioning where the key actually sits. when you go Command C, Command V for copying and all that stuff. I always felt you don't have to do that big of a stretch when you and so now trying to figure out how. Let's try a view from the front, because I don't really know what is not working here right now. So here is gonna be the neck. And now those go up. And now we are here on the shoulders. Like when you shoulders are actually kind of in the back, I suppose. I'll try to combine all this not really refined knowledge of anatomy studies so far. So here we have, I suppose this is gonna be like the shoulder. So that's why this anatomy stuff is pretty helpful, because I'm kind of not really sure about the shoulders. There's somehow attached to the shoulder blades in the back, but I have no idea what happens on this specific pose with the shoulder blades, and I suppose they would be like so. Here goes pectorals. So if you want to see a dude with a creepy glove touching himself live on the internet, Start at Frame 1 is your channel. But touching yourself sometimes helps when you're lost with your anatomy. All right. Yeah. So actually, I don't know if I can find a solution right now with this here. And we just go with the, well, it's a movement and it's only gonna be visible for a 12th part of a second, so we don't give it too much thought. Let's try this, okay? Let's try this solution. But definitely something, maybe I'm gonna look up, you know what? Why not? Let's check out some stuff. So I have those are the Spanish, so I have those two books here. And let's see if I can find very quickly kind of a reference here that can help us to. So this drawing here kind of all right, so totally burned out. Okay, we don't. Unfortunately, this is the view from the back. Let's see if we can find any reference here from the top. Yeah, but I'm not that off to be apparently. So let's try it again. So this is the top of our here we have our neck. And those pectorals are gonna go up. And here we have, I have no idea how those are called, but this is more or less the structure. And then we come here into the shoulder. So, and this is gonna lined. Actually, on that pose, like the arm is kind of already kind of this. Mm-hmm. Like this isn't an impossible movement, right? No. That's not able to capture it. So we have to go even steeper here. Here comes kind of a tube. So now let's see, like I think here comes kind of the biceps. That be okay. So taking like let's all right, okay, we have a would we actually see like the armpit here on here? I suppose, right? This is here. Well, it seems more correct than this one, so let's try to apply this in a more stylized way. And the thing is, let's see if we then also have to kind of change the next and previous frame. Okay, so then we would have here our shoulder. This may cause us more work than I was having in mind, but let's try to get this right. So then here comes. So this won't line up with the previous and next drawing. Here we're definitely off. And if we don't correct, like, you see how this jumps. Not liking it. Okay. We have. So I really didn't change now too much. But let's see if we are feeling. So yeah, the excuse is only 12th part of a second. Quite works as an excuse. But the cool thing, I definitely gonna have a look at that afterwards and try to improve this. What I found now with this animation, I find myself so many times and not really knowing when you try to study or practice poses. I feel like it's very difficult to come up on your own with poses when you don't have a reference image. And well, that is a great pose to practice, I suppose. Okay, now here. And as I said at the beginning, I really like this this pass in the whole process, because you're still fairly loose with your drawings. Like you don't have to put your strokes like this, which I like to draw a little bit more loosely, but you already have a kind of a precision, if that makes sense. I suppose it's like the style of each person, but I've never really been that, and I never drew this clean, precise stuff. It's funny because somebody commented a I don't know if it was an illustration or an animation. I think it was an illustration. Pointing out that it seems like, oh, very precise work. It was a finished illustration, and that this person is not really into drawing this clean. He has a more rough style, which is funny because I would never define myself as a very precise how do you call it? Illustrator, artist. I think artist is a kind of a, don't like the word. Okay, Sean says there's a homepage that's called Figurosity for muscle anatomy, but you have to unlock stuff via payment. All right. I'm gonna have a look at it. Interesting. And I think I mentioned in another stream the Vimeo channel. I think it's called Crocky's Cafe. Just kind of a weird concept because you have videos of nude models that try not to move. Where you would think, like, why don't you use a photo? But they're timed out, so well, that could be also done with a photo, but maybe it's this imperfection that is appealing. So the Grokis Cafe is a videos of differently timed poses, so you can draw along with it. And I tried it a few times, and the factor of the timing is definitely a very cool element to it, because I don't know if you ever have attended figure drawing, live figure drawing classes or events. I don't know how you call them. Are they classes? No. I've only been to one, and the poses are they vary between, like, some are only 30 seconds. I think the longest that where I went was around 5 minutes. And I have learned a lot of stuff since I attended this class, or this session, because I felt like, what the hell are you supposed to draw in 30 seconds? And back then I already have heard about line of action in your poses, so I thought, like, all right, so we only do the line of action. And I think that's the whole idea, to capture just the pose. And again, recommending Mike Mattisi's YouTube channel on forceful drawing, where they basically try to capture poses with only like so few strokes that you would be surprised you can capture a drawing with so little strokes. And that's basically the idea on 30-second poses. You obviously won't get any details, but it's more about to capture the different forces, the yeah, how would you say, like the different tensions in the poses. And it's really great practice. I was so exhausted after, I don't know, it was 2 hours, or was it just 1 hour, the drawing session. And I was so exhausted because it's insane how much concentration you get, or you need. And yeah, super cool practice, definitely. And I attended because I heard so many animators preaching that to get better in animation, live live figure drawing is the best way. And now I get it. Okay. And the thing with the Grokis Cafe with the video is actually it is kind of somehow not the same as drawing from a picture, to be honest. Although like the three-dimensional effect isn't very captured, because that's a difficult thing when you do live drawing and trying to bring that 3D element onto your paper. And they definitely don't have the same effect than like drawing from a still image. And now I think I would enjoy even more like a 30-second pose session than a, I don't know how long they can get. I think I don't know if I have seen half an hour. Like they announced half an hour sessions, but where you obviously then go more into details. But I think maybe it's just because of the animation aspect. I kind of prefer the short ones. It was also really cool to see the approach of other people there, because so many applied their own style to the pose. When they changed to 5-minute poses, for example, you could, people quite rendered out their drawings, and it was super interesting to see as well, like the different tools they used. People with chalk, people with pencil, crayons, or whatever. Super interesting. And as well, like different kind of details everybody was trying to capture, maybe depending on their tools. Because obviously you cannot go into detail with a crayon like you can do with a, well, it depends on the size of the paper, I suppose, and the size of your drawing, but I would say with a pencil you can capture way more details than with a crayon. This here's also kind of, one thing about this pass as well, on the animation, I like the aesthetics when you have a scribbled style, not too clean but not too loose neither. There's a beautiful, beautiful piece, animation piece, which is called, it's from Ryan Redwood. Let's see. Hmm. Always have Ryan Redwood, yeah, thought of you. And this is such a beautiful animation. I'm gonna copy it on here in the chat if you're interested in it. Like he captures the force of the animation. What the fuck? Okay. Again. Why didn't I get that? Here we go. This video is, I totally, it blew me away. Like really insane. And yeah, here you can feel like the force that he captures with it. It's super, super beautiful. All right, so Sean also had experience with live live drawing. Yeah, it is absolutely weird. And so yeah, and in this video, it is absolutely this kind of aesthetic, still with the pencil, quite loose. And but it's weird. Every time I have this pass finished, I feel like I need to do a total cleanup now. I don't know why he decided in this video not to do it, but I'm not missing any rendered final look on that video at all. This one's quite alright. Missing the hair. Also have kind of a okay. Oh, now comes a part where I started off today before the stream, but I thought maybe we can work on it on the stream because we finished off last time with some kind of this pose. His hands were a little bit lower, like if he was praying. And I felt like maybe I want him to already be like stretched like this, which is very rough, and I don't think that this is actually working out. But let's see if we can figure out a more elegant way here. So I have a quite stretched head here. This arm and this hand is giving me kind of trouble here with the perspective. I think here would be a break. Kind of have some foreshortening going on. I'm wondering which way is the more. Oh yeah, Sean, what you say, like it doesn't bother at all. I think those additional lines that capture even better the movement somehow. I don't know. But the cool thing is I saw this video before I learned about forceful drawing, and I never really understood what is so super awesome about this video. And once I heard about this technique, about this forceful drawing technique, uh, yeah, this video is awesome, and it's animated on ones, I think. I'm just looking at it. Oh no, it's on twos. That's a cool thing on, well, not everything, but it's cool on YouTube that you can actually with full stop and comma go through the videos. Yeah, but it's super awesome. I love it. I think this is one of the animators um when I saw it, it's like, okay, this is something to put a, like, this is where I wanted, I would love to be in some point. Get a super inspiration. What's also super cool on the animation is that there's so many lines that actually are not really finished. Like they just vanish, and it doesn't matter at all because you kind of connect the dots and have a fluent experience. I leave this as it is and see how the next one will actually look like. Right, now let's see how we get this pose. Here again, missing anatomy skills. I'm not really sure what's going on underneath the arm here. This is the armpit. So here would be the rib cage. Okay, we start from scratch. Let's see. I think it would be, this is supposed to be the shoulder. So I don't really feel this arc here. Again, very tricky. Maybe the head is more behind. Let's try to give it a little bit more. Now, let's get a first rough. Pretty sure with this part here. Because Spectra's definitely gonna get up, but I think because of perspective. And the okay, kind of works. Because then we directly cut over to our other perspective, and I think it's all right. And what I mostly see is this part here that for me makes the perspective and the drawing work the most. I don't know if you felt the same, but seeing this part here most present seems like the most important part to actually understand what's going on. I don't know, I have that feeling. Now let's see how then the drawing in between those two would look like. Suppose we kind of so as we talked about drawing very defined lines, I love this is when you have like this very soft pencil and you don't really care too much about your drawing. And I always liked digital drawing since I practiced it because of the layers and that you are able to just lower the opacity of one, use it as a guide, and then draw on top of it on a new layer. I never occurred to me that this technique is actually doable on paper. But thanks to YouTube and all the super helpful insights on other professional illustrators, I saw how they actually do that, like with a very loose pencil, a very soft pencil, and then erasing, lightening up, and drawing on top of that. And I don't know if to well, if you ink afterwards, I suppose. I just feel like you don't get rid of the pencil completely. Maybe that is like a dirty result at the end. I have no idea how they finish this kind of drawing, like really finalize the rendering. But there's I've seen a few artists, DC and Marvel comic artists that actually, yeah, they ink on top of pencil. Yeah, sure. So now I want to refine that very rough drawing because I feel now from this drawing, from this one to this one, like this very this part where I just mentioned is super present. This lines here, it feels like it's jumping. There's no transition from this. You don't see anywhere those lines already appearing, so you have the feeling of a fluent motion. It's just bam, suddenly it's there. It would be helpful to already have a kind of a slight insight on the armpit, so that this drawing, so you have some kind of a transition. I don't know if this makes sense. But then on the other hand, I feel yeah, let's refine that and see what happens. They're not human. But I feel like once thanks to the internet and seeing all that insights, that makes them actually human again. I always felt like this is a, and suddenly you see, all right, they don't draw ink directly. They do all this step by step, breaking it down, redefining it, and getting more into detail. Suddenly, at least it gets you inside what happens in their minds when you say, okay, they don't have to draw the ball and the whatever rectangle to define the head. They maybe can draw the head directly, but actually in their head they thinking about those geometric shapes and or actually draw them as well. You know? Because after all, we're all just cooking with water. And definitely there are people with talent and people with less talent. But I'm a firm believer of if you have a lack of talent, you have to just put in more effort, and you can get there. Like your the way is a little bit more bumpy, but it doesn't mean that you cannot do it. All right, so and well, why not? Okay, now we have it here. Now we get a, let's say, a harder pencil, and get in there and see. I always feel it's pretty scary when you suddenly see, oh my god, this is so defined now with this very thin lines, and now your margin of error you can go like that that is accepted is so much smaller, because then you suddenly have to draw way more precise, and anything doesn't make sense, it's noticeable. Totally forgot our mustache here. The whole face. One topic that I've never tackled is feet. Just kind of same scary thing, like what's weird is Can I merge just one image down, or does it have to be the whole layer? Seems like it has to be the whole layer. That's a huge hands compared with the feet. I think this is good to go. Yeah, I would do cleanup now. So now let's see, do we... Let's do a in between sketch. And now let's do in between clean. So we just merged them afterwards, we merged them down. Okay. We need to color pick first. Or here we have our color. Now let's see this pen. No pressure sensitivity. The thing is, I think it was, I don't know if it was 2 pixels. No, it was actually 1. Here we go. All right. There's also something I haven't gotten into my system yet. That you not only have to mark the keyframe that you want to draw on. No, it has to be, I think it could it be, okay, the keyframe you mark is actually irrelevant. What counts is the layer you're on, which makes sense, but I think it's still because of Photoshop and Animate, because there you, if I remember right, you just activate, you just click on the keyframe you want to edit and you're good to go. So those two lines, I don't know how the muscles are called, they're actually not really in every drawing. So I'm wondering if I should get rid of them. Kind of feel like they add quite a lot of detail to the anatomy and make him much more masculine. We're gonna see. I feel like we don't have any. Let's see if the stabilizer. I don't know if you feel like this is cheating to use a stabilizer. I'm really fascinated about people that are getting their lines this perfectly. But the thing is with the stabilizer, you always have this kind of latency, and it makes it. Oh no, I don't like it. Get it? Basic, basic is already stabilizing, I suppose, because you have the option none. So yeah, this doesn't feel so off. I actually don't really feel any latency or so what is going on here? I have this weird no idea what that is. Let's get rid of it. Wait. Why is there suddenly a drawing missing? That is something that drives me nuts. And it happens sometimes with Gritter. So now it is here again. I don't know. Sometimes there's this weird this weird thing going on, and the leg is not really showing what is actually there. And this is also a huge problem for me, which makes Greta once again a kind of a wild card. So here I wanted just to correct a little. Kind of feel a difference here. The color is not the same. What's wrong with the color picker? Yeah, look, we are definitely not drawing with the correct color. Didn't we color pick? Didn't we? I'm sure we did, but okay. And then we are back on track. Super funny when I saw this on other Twitch channels with illustrators, when you see like them drawing a line and undo, draw the line again, undo, not good enough, draw the line again, undo. Which gives me always hope, like I'm not the only one who not gets his lines as precise as I would like them to be. So what is going on here? Get it. Clip Studio Paint for 30 days free. Okay. I'm really curious about TV Paint, to be honest, because I saw a few things on TV Paint. First thing that I saw why I liked it was the same onion skin options, like it is in Gritter, where you can define the opacity and how much you want to see of each frame and how far ahead or how far back. I have no idea how much it costs. And I kind of want to stick with the, I like the idea to use an open software, a free software. I kind of, I want to be part of that. Now, I have never drawn in those knuckles, so I shouldn't start now because it's gonna look weird. Yeah, but why not try it? I mean, Clip Studio, never heard of it. And just always scared of, I like this in that software, but it's not in this software. And then you kind of have already seen that it's possible in another software and you wonder why they don't put it here. Which software would you compare it mostly? When you draw? It's so funny because I went away, uh, completely abandoned Photoshop since I discovered Gritter. Not completely. There's still certain tasks. The moment when there's typography or something like that involved, I I switch to Photoshop. Definitely. Isn't it great that it's Friday? I feel very privileged to actually arrive on Sunday evening and think, oh, great, tomorrow is Monday. Which means that I can animate stuff. I could animate stuff as well on the weekend, but at some point I decided to not do it and recharge as well with the family. It's always great to have a few days off and not think about that stuff. Although sometimes when you have those very shitty projects and you just don't want it to be Monday. Which, when you're freelancing, you could make every day a Sunday, but obviously then you're not freelancing for quite a long time. So it's good to have those excuses to say, well, it's weekend, I cannot work today. A TV Paint and it ain't cheap. 500 for the standard edition, 1,250 for the Pro. Well, to be honest, if you would, if you make a living of that stuff, the price is, in my opinion, is justified. That the project doesn't have to be that big to actually how do you say, like the amount of money you may be able to do with that software compared to how much it costs, it's pretty cheap, I would say. If you compare it with Cinema 4D, I think if you buy the package, it's 4,000 euros, which seems a lot of money, but I would argue that there are a lot of 3D projects. It depends on the market, but a 3D project, when you're animating in 3D, I think you easily reach a 4,000 euros. And if it's not with one project, it's with 2 or 3. And then from there on, you're basically making money thanks to the tool. That's always what I think about. But yeah, it's difficult. I had absolutely the same mindset before I was freelancing, thinking of just I want to play around and do stuff. Then it's super expensive, obviously. That's why I canceled Cinema 4D. I was into it a while, but wasn't able to make money with it because I was not good enough. And then suddenly a subscription of 50 euros plus 30 euros for Octane is money. Which I didn't justify. So I decided, well, then apparently I am not going to do 3D, or I don't know. It's difficult. Because on the other hand, if you think, I don't know how much is Procreate, the software, it's like, it costs nothing. And it's an insane, awesome tool that allows so many illustrators to make thousands and thousands of euros or dollars or whatsoever. So if you compare it with that, I think it's even not justified to sell this cheap, because the app is awesome and quite flawless. I think I've never came across problems with Procreate, for example. Yeah, sure, definitely to competition, but again, like stability, Krita compared with stability in Photoshop, it's nothing compared, in my opinion. I'm taking the bugs and whatsoever because I like the software, but I'm sure if anybody would give me a free license on TV Paint, for example, I would definitely consider it. I like the idea about the value that you get, and then you decide on your own if you take it or not, and that's something that helped me understand as well the business side of design, because after all, clients see a value in your work, and it's definitely not they like it. No, they see your work and say, "Oh, that could work for my company, and I could make that amount of money thanks to your design, because it creates value to my brand or whatsoever." So then they have to consider, is your price worth what they are willing to invest? And a very, very cool book is the pitch, how's it called, Win Without Pitching, a super great book. But as well, let me give you the link here. This is definitely a channel that was super helpful for me when it comes to business in the creative industry and how to price yourself and whatever. That is, I think I've watched this episode for quite some time, like every week while working. I recommend the whole channel. And you may, I'm not how do you say, I don't share the point of view in each episode, but there's definitely some stuff which I never thought about in that way, and it helped me to gain confidence when it comes to negotiations. And that's also always the thing when it comes to the Adobe subscription, because sometimes there are moments where I'm not very happy with the whole concept of Adobe, but on the other hand, I just think like for 50 euros I get this huge package of softwares, which fortunately I really don't need all of them. But it's insane, like the possibilities you get. I mean, the same thing is actually applicable to products. Like, is like I don't think that an Apple computer is worth what they sell it for. Like the product, like the material and the production obviously is obviously not uh, that pricey as they sell it, and their 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 margin on how much money they make on those products is insane. But people are willing to pay that kind of money I highly doubt that it's because of the quality of the product. It's partly, but most part I would say is what makes Nike Nike, and it's basically a t-shirt with a logo on it. It's not better quality than other shirts or most of other shirts, but you kind of see somehow a value in that, and so you say, well, I'm happy to pay, I don't know, instead of 20 euros for a shirt, I pay 50 euros. Although down the aisle, you get the same shirt without a logo. And I remember there is a super cool series of a documentary series. It's called Century of the Self, which tells about how they actually started. I think it's the nephew of Sigmund Freud who actually invented the propaganda. Now they call it now. It's not, obviously it's not called propaganda anymore, because of what went down with the Nazis, and so propaganda got a very weird taste. The word, but as the industry figured, like, after everybody had already bought a pair of pants and a shirt and shoes and those products back then, at least they last like quite some time, so people didn't consume more than what they actually needed, so they had to invent some idea that made people buy stuff they actually didn't need. And that was when they started to sell images and not only products, because thanks to that product you can be so much more cooler, and but this product only works in that kind of environment. So if you want to get into another environment, you need another pair of pants, because a green pair of pants is the last shit, but it doesn't work on that and that environment. So they created this weird system until today, where they basically just sell people things they don't need. And I'm not telling you here that I'm immune to that. Absolutely not. But I find it super interesting to know about that, and read about it, and that was quite fascinating. Like Century of the Self, I think it's on the internet. You can watch it for free, and it's like 2 or 3 episodes of an hour. Super interesting. I think the English, how do they call this? English, like ham with eggs, or bacon with eggs. Is it English breakfast, American breakfast? I don't know, but it's an invention of. I think it was actually the nephew of Sigmund Freud who invented it, because like, butchers had a huge loss of consumption of bacon, and so they invented, with kind of a publicity and whatever, the American breakfast or English breakfast. I'm not really sure which one it is, but they just made it up to bring up the numbers of of bacon. That for an example. And one thing I remember as well was the promotion of cigarettes. There was some kind of a parade on the Independence Day. Some kind of parade on the Independence Day. What kind of parade would it be? And they wanted to get women to smoke more because mostly men were smoking back then. So they needed some kind of an idea how to get women to smoke. And I don't remember all the details, but it was back when women were more or less supposed to stand in the kitchen, like, and they didn't have the rights back then, like today. And so he created this propaganda. But during the parade, suddenly all the women put out a cigarette and lit it, and they called it the torch of liberty. And so women started to smoke because it was a symbol of liberty suddenly, which is also a very fascinating campaign. Chill here. So this foot is super stretched here. Oh, we still have to do the in-betweens as well for the plank, but that should be fairly quick, as the shape is super simple. Too weird. Yeah, when you have this long lines like this just right now, it's very difficult to draw precisely. And I kind of feel it's because of the size of the tablet. By the way, Sean, how is it going with your new tablet? I I can imagine like you've been using it now since you have it bought just recently. And I don't remember the brand anymore, but it would be, yeah, curious how this is going. Mm. XP pen. Okay. Well, that is, yeah, those problems happen, John. Don't you worry. Hello, Kiko loves Chew. Yeah, this guy is he's got some muscles going on. All right. Oh, I don't know where this ends here. Like this is just the stroke just let's look there that wasn't well prepared. Let's take a look at this afterwards. Would it just disappear here in the yeah, you know what? Let's keep it like this. This looks okay. So yeah, I'll have to check them out. Those XP pen, 15 inch, you say, Sean? Is it? Oh, no worry, Kikelos. Glad you found the time. Don't get too distracted at work. So we don't want to get into any problems here. Okay, 15.6 Pro model. Is it I suppose 15.6 it's the inch of your tablet? Oh, so you like your new tablet. That's cool. I'm really happy for you. Glad you now on a new level. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I kind of think to remember like you are doing illustrations, right? Sorry for not remembering, Sean. Because a lot of people tell me they work with tablets working in 3D, which I could imagine like for modeling, but other than that. So Kikalov, how I don't know where you're located and what time it is, but I hope you are close to your well-deserved weekend. And what kind of resolution do you get on your on the eye on your tablet? Because I was just thinking 15.6 inch sounds like super. This doesn't sound like too much, but I have 16 inch, so what the I just got it just got messed up. All right, on illustration, it's awesome if you now have a tablet. That is super awesome. How is the Surface going? Not the surface, like yeah, the screen surface. Is it very slick? Do you have a grip? What's the situation there? Just curious. Because I don't know if you've been on the stream when I told like I got this paper like screensaver for the iPad, which is super awesome. And the Cintiq also got kind of a grip, which makes it a little bit like the Paperlike. It actually feels more natural like paper than the Paperlike on the iPad. And I don't know, before I got the Paperlike screen protector, the iPad was so slick and slippery, but it was super fun to draw with kind of ink pens, because there you have this, I don't know, it felt super good to just glide over the screen and get this thick black lines going. And I feel like every surface on those tablets or yeah, on those tablets, they they're able to emulate a certain, I don't know, tool or technique, drawing technique. So this paper-like screen protector makes the pen, because the pen is always the same, it has the same pin, and it makes it feel like drawing on paper with a very soft pencil. That was the setup that made it feel like the most natural with this paper-like surface, which is cool when you go for it, but the moment where you want to draw with another kind of pen or tool, then it already feels off again. So that may not be the problem of the screen. It's probably because although you change the brush or whatever, like your pen still has the same, it's the same pen as you hold it in your hand. I don't know if I explain myself, but that's something that I found quite interesting, and that's why I think digital drawing can never live up to the feeling of a analog drawing, which I haven't done in quite some while. This morning with my coffee, I had a little bit of, I drew a little bit on paper, and I directly realized, oh man, I have to do it more often. It's kind of meditation. All right, so yeah, I think what you say, Sean, is probably comparable with the Cintiq. It's not, it has this kind of grip, so yeah, but it's not glass. Yeah, exactly. Laminated screen, they call it, okay. Do you have any comparison with other drawing tablets? Yeah, I'm very curious, like when I hope my Cintiq will like live for, it's gonna have a long and happy life. But things break after a while, and I'm not really sure if I will, what would be my decision afterwards. I'm super sure that I'm gonna get another monitor tablet. There's no doubt about it. But I'm definitely gonna be open for other products that are not that expensive, as long as I feel like I get the same quality. And with the Wacom, I really feel like they are like the drivers are not really working well. Like every time I have a driver update on my PC, like things don't work at all. And I think I'm already like 2 updates behind with the driver, because it's just, I don't know why they, well, apparently I find myself with some bugs, and maybe that could be fixed with the latest driver, but I always get the feeling like there's more harm to a new driver than it actually fixes. Okay, one kidney for a tablet. It seems reasonable. Talking again, what people are willing to pay in order to get the right value back. Okay. So, all right, that is uh, 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 apparently my Wacom is not really happy about me bitching around that Wacom is not that cool product, because it just oh, what the hell? It just suddenly turned off. I think it was a loose cable or something like that. And Krita now apparently doesn't. Okay, there we go. Oh, that is so. This is so random. Everything. Um. What? Okay. So now my tablet is not working anymore. Holy moly, that is so creepy. I'm gonna save here. I haven't saved the whole stream. That is not good. Okay. Let's restart Critter. Yeah, but regarding to the tablets, I could imagine like my next tablet in a very, very far away future where money wasn't an issue. I would look for a bigger format. And only because I have the iPad as well, which will allow me to travel with with a tablet. Because if this wouldn't be the case, I definitely wanted to get a more flexible solution. But as long as the iPad is around, it seems like a cool option. Those very big tablets, which I mentioned, like before I got this Cintiq, I tried first the older ones, the previous generation, where for the same price you got the 32-inch, I think. Which you also have to have quite some space on your desktop because it is so huge with the whole structure to put it there. But and in the moment where I started, it felt like too big, but now I totally get the advantage of a bigger tablet. But this is like no more problems left. This is my last problem to tackle, to be honest. Oh well. The angles. Really done. And as it gets so big, like the very thin line feels super weird. For example, right now I have I think I want to try to recalibrate my tablet because I feel like the point where I'm actually drawing doesn't really fit my knob, my pin. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having high, like you need those dreams, Sean. Let's dream about this huge desktop tablet, 32-inch at least. So what is going on? Where is my okay? I'm trying to pen calibration. So now I'm curious how this is gonna look on the Cintiq. You don't see anything weird. on the stream, I suppose. Let's see if this is better. I think the problem is because it's so thin, the pen, and you have this little offset, but as it is so thin, it's really recognizable. Like I feel the offset and it makes it a little bit difficult. And that's the thing with the iPad. I never had that problem, actually. I just realized that. There's never been a topic to have a offset. But what happens with the iPad, for example, I get like every second time I use it, I get these problems with the connectivity with the pen. Sometimes you draw and you get this on-off connection. I don't know how you would explain it. Like I draw a straight line and then I get gaps in between because while drawing the line, the connectivity gets lost and it connects and reconnects. And I was able to fix that a little bit by taking off the knob and like try to clean it by blowing in there. And the most ridiculous thing about I remember when I first had that, I called the Apple support, and they asked me for the serial number of my pencil. And well, the first person that attended was not like too savvy on Apple products. That's why they work on the technical support, I suppose. But there is another way, like you can actually see on your iPad the serial number. But yeah, let's see if like this is the Apple Pencil. So you have comparison, and then you have to get this off, and it's not visible. Like you have to look inside there, and I figured where the number is, but I wasn't able to read anything. It's like, I don't know, 0.4 like size of the letters. It's ridiculous. It's super ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense to me why you would put the serial number at a size that is absolutely not readable and then put it on a place where you actually cannot even see it. It's like you don't want people to get the serial number. That's when you would put it there. It's just for legal reasons we put the serial number on there, but we did it like so you cannot even read it nor find it. And once you found it, you cannot read it. I think I should change my attitude. Just picking too much on all those on all those tech companies and their products and support when I actually make a living out of it. So well, look at that. We have our outlines. Okay, now this supposedly is now done, and now let's combine our layers. Let's merge them. So this one can go down here. Do we have here like this? All right, now this is stupid what I'm doing here. Okay. Basically now I need to see if there are any sketchy frames like this one. So I take this down here. Here. Okay, and now we gonna merge them to get everything together. Oh, it's 4:30. That means we're done for today. I'm glad we finished the outlines here. Now look at that. We have our animation on 2s. It's so much smoother, and now he actually jumps. I like that. It's a pretty cool dynamic last frame where he all stretched out. Nice. All right. So yeah, that's it for today's stream. Thanks a lot for watching. And next stream is gonna be on Monday, 2 p.m. Central European Time, as always. I don't know if I have time now on the weekend to continue on that cleanup, or we're gonna continue cleaning up this one here. But we're getting closer and closer now. Let's get our background in here, so we're gonna see what's happening. Still need our plank to get in there where he actually, and yeah, bit by bit. All right, thanks again everybody, have a great weekend, and see you on Monday, hopefully. Bye bye.